So guys, let's break down GBPUSD, aka Cable, aka one of my favorite pairs. But instead of just talking about what's happening right now and where I believe the price will go, let's have a bit of a history lesson because it's quite important how the pound end up trading at the levels it is right now. So for that, let's actually go back to March, guys. Back in March, this is where the Russia and Ukraine story really started to break out. And you might be sitting there thinking, what's that got anything to do now with pound and dollar? Well, guys, pound is a risk asset. So whenever a war happens, the risk asset classes get hit. And that's exactly what happened here, along with commodities, along with equities. So the pound, this is where I started to really sum up on my positions on the downside. So this was an excellent opportunity for anybody that knew that was going to happen. Then after that, we can see pound has tried to regain some feet. However, the Fed, and as you guys know, the dollar is king, the Fed decided to increase interest rates, which kept pushing pound all the way down. And this is where I've seen it tap 1.14, which is quite a significant level for me. Now, after that, if things basically couldn't get any worse, this is where the UK decided, and Liz Truss, which is no longer with us, and I don't mean she's dead, she just messed the whole thing up. She basically came out with something called the growth plan. What that basically was, an idea to cut taxes, but how are they going to do that? They're going to use that using borrowed money. Where does that borrowed money come from? The gilt. This is UK debt. Guys, this absolute mess made the pound collapse and make, let me say it slowly, all-time lows. That's right, all-time lows. Whether this is good for you, whether this is bad for you guys, all-time lows is a moment in history that we can say that we actually watched that unless all-time lows get taken out again. Now, I'm actually going to save that for in a few minutes of where I think pound's going to go, because I do think it's going to go south. But of course, something had to happen here, guys. Now, what actually happened was the Bank of England, as they normally do, stepped in and started printing more and more money. And by the way, one other thing I want to mention before I forget, this collapse right here nearly took out some pension funds, which had a total of more than $1 trillion inside of it. That's right, $1 trillion. So that's how important when the Bank of England comes in and starts printing more and more money. And so we had the pound prop back up a little bit and basically try to regain some stable feet. Now, for me, what I find quite interesting, I'm explaining this, guys, you have basically the Bank of England hoping that you borrow less. On the other hand, you've got the new government basically saying, we're going to cut your taxes. What are you going to do if you've got less taxes to pay? You're going to spend more. That's what's caused all of this entire mess. So now, technically, what I see happening, and I saw this, we started to create some higher highs and higher lows, as you can see. And I've been obviously following the momentum and volume using my indicators, you can see. But what I actually saw was here, we had the trend line break to the downside. And if I zoom closely, it was a nice little retest as well. So I started to feel the pound pressure is now back on. And guys, just to make this very clear, the pound macro picture is dire. You have growth, which is low. You have rates skyrocketing. You have inflation skyrocketing. You even had UK interest rates get raised by 75 basis points, but that did nothing to move the pair. And you're probably thinking, now, how did the US Federal Reserve increase interest rates and that actually gave dollar some favor and some strength? Well, right now, guys, there is no trust in UK credibility. So basically, some people are looking at the UK like an emerging market, which basically means when the yield goes up, pound goes down. That's how much of a mess it is. And so for me, what I see, and everyone's going to ask, okay, so the price is now starting to rally back up. Why has that rally happened? I'm going to give you the top 3 reasons right now. Number 1 was something I call the Rishi rally, which is obviously there's new power in charge, and now people are having a lot of faith. How long for? I actually don't believe it's going to be for too long. Number 2, we had negative NFP on Friday. So of course, that is going to give pound that little bit of strength that we've been waiting for. And the third thing is quite interesting, guys. There's obviously a lot of stuff in the news that China might actually open back up. And for all of those asking, again, what does that have to do with this? Again, going back to that risk asset classes, this is actually going to then boost up risk asset classes like the pound. Or what I can do is I can show you right here, the effect that it's had on oil. As you can see, value to the upside, silver, gold, everything is correlated, guys. And even if I want to show you the equities as well. So that's how important the China story in the background really is. Now, where do I feel like it's going to go next? Now, this is where I'm going to obviously make my predictions, and my predictions are going to be bold, guys. I believe with everything going on right now with the macro picture, there is nothing substantial that's going to tell me that pound is going to be trading a lot higher unless something changes. So for me, once it breaks this level right here, I'm basically looking for sell opportunities. I am looking for short opportunities. And so for me, once I see this level get broken at 1.14, my first target will be 1.115. Now, I'm going to be extra ballsy. That's right. I believe that we have a strong opportunity to take out all-time lows. Now, this is because of, again, the big, massive macro picture, inflation. You know, there's so much going on right now with the UK that, for me, it's only looking like short opportunities. And what I can even do, if I were to go to a daily time frame, I could even go ahead and we can draw on a fib level from the recent highs up there, down here. If I go back to the 4-hour time frame, as you guys can see, it's basically playing in our 61.8 range, as you guys can see right there. So for me, all eyes are on, will pound have another attempt at all-time lows? But that's a real breakdown, guys, of GBPUSD. You know, and a lot of people out there actually don't understand what are the marketing driving factors behind this pair. So if you guys enjoy this video and you want to see why pound is actually really moving and you want my advice every single day, guys, I'll put my link in the bio. So this video is the future of GBPUSD. And now if you want to know more, hit me up, join my team. You can get information like this every single day, guys. Thank you for that. And let's see what actually happens with the pound. Will it collapse? Will it have another attempt at all-time lows? You heard it here first. Thanks.